Today I have the privilege to introduce you to a remarkable person. But before I do that, I want to invite you to close your eyes for a few moments. Bring your own higher purpose to the forefront of your attention. Think about your why and how much it means to you. Think about the choices that you make and your actions that bring your purpose to life. Now, I want you to imagine what it would be like to turn the volume up on your purpose, to amplify it so that its impact lasts beyond your lifetime. What would you be willing to do? Would you be willing to give up some of the comforts of your life in service of your purpose? Would you be willing to courageously challenge limiting beliefs that have been imposed upon you, either by yourself or by others around you? Would you be willing to embody a fierce red energy as a conduit for your passion and your sense of urgency? Please open your eyes and allow me to bring that idea to life with the story of Greta Thunberg. Greta is a 16-year-old teenager from Sweden, and Greta has discovered her purpose and is living it with fierce intensity. At the age of 8, Greta learned about climate change. And even at that tender young age, she couldn't understand why there was so little being done about it. By the age of 11, Greta fell into a depression and stopped talking. She felt that everything was meaningless and that there was no point in going to school if there wasn't going to be a future. During that time, Greta was diagnosed with Asperger's syndrome and selective mutism, which means that she only speaks when it's necessary. Over the next few years, Greta discovered her purpose, and she rediscovered her voice. She began by using her voice to convince her parents to walk the talk and make significant changes in their lifestyle. They installed solar panels, they stopped eating meat, and they stopped flying. This was no small commitment because, you see, Greta's mother is an international opera singer, and that for her largely meant giving up her career. So Greta and her family were willing to sacrifice the comforts of their life in service of her purpose. Greta then used her written voice by winning a Swedish essay competition on climate change in May of 2018. This inspired her to turn the volume up just a little bit more. In August of 2018, armed with only this translated into for climate change, Greta stationed herself outside of the Swedish legislature every school day for 3 weeks, demanding that the government reduce carbon emissions. And from there, her volume has only continued to increase. Greta's Friday for Future movements have inspired school children around the world to participate in strikes of their own. Greta herself has participated in climate strike demonstrations all across the world. She's addressed international governing bodies through several speeches, and she's met with numerous world leaders. In March of this year, Greta was nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize. In May, she appeared on the cover of Time magazine, being named one of Time's 100 most influential people of 2019. This fall, Greta led the largest climate strike in history, with approximately 4 million people across 161 countries participating. Not bad. But also during this time, Greta she's been the target of negativity, she's been the target of threats, not dissimilar to notable world figures from history who have made meaningful differences that last beyond their generation. People like Gandhi, Martin Luther King, Malala. She's been criticized for her monotone voice and her stern appearance, which is a common characteristic among people on the autism spectrum. But Greta, she won't be diminished and she won't be minimized by that criticism. You see, Greta is willing to challenge the limiting beliefs that others have imposed upon her. In fact, Greta partially credits her Asperger's syndrome for her feisty, fierce spirit and her activism. Greta even calls her Asperger's her superpower. In September of this year, after making a 15-day trek across the Atlantic Ocean in a zero-carbon emissions boat, Greta addressed the United Nations Climate Action Summit here in New York. What you're about to see is an excerpt from her speech. What you are about to see is Greta's willingness to embody a fierce red energy as a conduit for her passion and her sense of urgency. As you watch this video, I want to encourage you to place your focus on the messenger more than on the message. Witness someone who cares deeply about making a difference not just for her generation, but for those that will survive her. Witness someone who is genuinely committed to the long arc of time. Let's watch.
This is all wrong. I shouldn't be up here. I should be back in school on the other side of the ocean. Yet you all come to us young people for hope. How dare you? You have stolen my dreams and my childhood with your empty words, and yet I'm one of the lucky ones. People are suffering, people are dying, entire ecosystems are collapsing. We are in the beginning of a mass extinction, and all you can talk about is money and fairy tales of eternal economic growth. How dare you? How dare you continue to look away and come here saying that you're doing enough when the politics and solutions needed are still nowhere in sight? You say you hear us and that you understand the urgency. But no matter how sad and angry I am, I do not want to believe that. Because if you really understood the situation and still kept on failing to act, then you would be evil, and that I refuse to believe. How dare you pretend that this can be solved with just business as usual and some technical solutions? There will not be any solutions or plans presented in line with these figures here today, because these numbers are too uncomfortable, and you are still not mature enough to tell it like it is. You are failing us. But the young people are starting to understand your betrayal. The eyes of all future generations are upon you. And if you choose to fail us, I say we will never forgive you. We will not let you get away with this. Right here, right now, is where we draw the line. The world is waking up, and change is coming whether you like it or not. Thank you.
powerful stuff. Please take 1 minute, capture your takeaways. Maybe consider the question, what would you be willing to do to turn the volume up on your purpose?